Hi, my name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast, and this is my Make It Monday for this week. Today we're going to do a technique called Antique Wash, and it's a nice vintage shabby chic sort of look. It's quite easy to do and you get a nice effect with it when you're done. I'll show you a couple of cards I played with yesterday. This one was using the Quiet Meadow stamp set. So that's that one. And this one was using Free as a Bird. It's a stamp set I haven't used for a while, so I thought I'd dig that one out and have a play with that. And today I'm going to play with another one I haven't used for a while, and that's called Forever Blossoms. So we're going to use this spray and Very Versals, or I think that's how you say it, with the scripty words. So let me put my phone up into my holder and we can get started. Okay, so this is my little sample of the Antique Wash technique in my little techniques book. I used the golfer that we had a couple of years back. And then I just write down the supplies you need and the step-by-step to get it to do the technique. So the supplies you're going to need are an aqua painter, the Stamparatus, and the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And then of course, obviously your card base and any other supplies you might want. So I'll pop my little book away. So these were the cards I made when I was playing around with the technique. So this was the Free as a Bird one. And I've used the lace trim ribbon on that. And this one is the spray from the Quiet Meadow stamp set, and I've used the early espresso, and it feels like suede, a suede sort of feel for the ribbon and the bow. So they were my two samples. So I'll put my catalogue over here and we shall get started. So if you want to order with me for the month of September, please use this host code. You will get a online card class if you put an order, a $30 order through or more. With this host code you'll get the class. So I cut up the 3 cards. One's a spinner card with the Give It a Whirl dies, and I cut them up and I send them out to you in the mail, and I send you a link to a video tutorial. So that'd be lovely if you wanted to order anything. So these are the stamp sets we're going to use today: Forever Blossoms and Very Versals. And this is the Fluid watercolor paper. Now all you do really for this, or unless you want a smaller piece, is you just cut one of the pieces in half and you get 2 card fronts or pieces for cards, unless you're particularly wanting a smaller piece. So I shall bring my Stamparatus in. So I don't need 2 pieces, so I'll put one aside. Although if I muff up, I might need the second piece. So you put your cardstock right up into the corner, and this will be apparent why you need to have it. Sometimes I put my cardstock in the middle, but there's a reason why you need it up in the corner for this technique. So I'm just going to get this lovely spray out and work out how I want it positioned. Do I want it like that, or do I want it going this way? I think that way is nice. Okay, so I'll bring my Stamparatus plate down to pick up the stamp. Okay, there's only 2 ink colours we're using today, and that's soft suede and Sahara sand. So get your soft suede and ink up your stamp. And the beauty of the Stamparatus is that if it doesn't stamp perfectly the first time, because it's where it is on the plate, you can just put it back down and repeat the stamping. I didn't think I inked that up very well. Let me just push a bit harder on the ink. Now, it's not stamping very well, and I don't know why, of course. So I shall just... So this is the beauty. You don't have to try and line it back up. It's just already there. It's the beauty of the Stamparatus. Okay. I'll leave it for that at the moment, and I'll get my chamois and just give it a clean. The chamois are great when you're using the Stamparatus to clean your stamps. I tend to use the chamois all the time now because I like them so much. But yeah, to clean off your stamps when you're using the Stamparatus, best thing. Okay, so now I'll just get this out. Put my Stamparatus to one side. And what you're going to do is... going to get a bit of scrap paper. Put that there. It's good to have a piece of tissue or a paper towel when you're using an aqua painter. So just make sure that's running, and you're just going to squeeze it through and wash the ink. And because our friendly garden frog is going to start its little chorus now. Mark says that it means we've got a lovely garden environment if we've got a frog in our garden. I don't really care if we've got a lovely garden environment. The frog annoys me. Anyway, so you're just going to wash it over like that. And put your lid back on. Now I'm going to hit this with my heat tool just to dry it off. If you're doing it yourself, you could probably just leave it to dry, but for the purpose of the video, I want it to dry off quickly. Okay, so we've dried that off. We're going to bring our Stamparatus back in. Open that up. And this is why I'll just sort of bend that because it's got a bit of a buckle in it now. This is why you want it to be up into the corner, because you're going to re-stamp the image over the top again. So I am going to just make sure I get ink on my stamp properly this time round. You could use early espresso as well. That would be another colour you could use for this part of the technique. Once again, because we're using the Stamparatus, if we don't get the ink down properly, we can repeat it. So make sure your plate's in properly and push down. And then press firmly on your stamp. Okay, that's worked okay. I would like a bit more detail in my little buds, but don't think I'm going to get them. Just try one more time. Sometimes if you try too hard, you mess it up. No, I'm happy with that. So once again, I'm going to get my chamois to wipe off my stamp. There we go. Now, we can put the Stamparatus to one side now. I like to clean my stamp off as I go. And we can close up this for the moment. bring back our scrap paper in. Okay, and the Very Versailles. You could use that spray as well, but I'm going with this one for today. I'll just get the right block. Now, annoying thing about my Very Versailles stamp is that I've mounted it crooked. And you could probably say, why don't you just put it onto the Stamparatus? Well, I could do that. But before I do that, I have to make it a mask. So, bear with me. So, I'll need to get this off the block, off the Stamparatus, I mean, and put it on this block. And I'll show you. Make a mask of your stamp so that when you put your script, it doesn't go through your image. It just is on either side, which is quite nice. So I'm going to try and go over here on my post-it notes so that I get some of the sticky. There's a kid screaming. I don't think it's the baby next door, but who knows? It's not my baby. That's all I care about. Sometimes I say these things and you can't hear it on the video, but yeah, anyway. So I'm just going to, not going to be too fussy cutting around this. Just sort of getting the basic shape. You don't have to be too particular about it. So you can use post-it notes, or I use post-it notes because it's got that little bit of sticky down the top part of it. But you could use just scrap paper or copy paper and use washi tape or anything like that, however you like to make a mask. So you can tell I'm not being real fussy with the detail of the cutting. I was going to have my mask already done and I forgot about that. Sorry. Because when I'm trying to cut quickly, I can't cut at all. I get a bit, you know, shaky. So I'm not going to go right down into that stem because I don't think I need to. It's just a basic mask. We've got a lovely day here on the Central Coast with beautiful weekend weather. As you probably know, I quite often do these on a Sunday afternoon and load them up on a Monday morning because I work on a Monday now, so that seems to work for me. It's still my Makeup Monday though. So we took our little puppy for a lovely walk this morning. That was nice. It's pretty much beach weather this weekend, but stay-at-home orders, so we're not going out to the beach where there could be crowds, because that would be silly. Okay, so that's our mask, so I'll get rid of these pieces. And hopefully there'll be enough sticky just to sort of cover a flower. Okay, that's all you really need, because I'll just make it come. That's better. Now, get your Sahara sand and you ink it up. Now, I'm going to have to just try and work out which way I've got to tilt my... Honestly, I have so many times been tempted to buy another stamp set so I can line my stamp up straight. Okay, that's not too bad. So if I go straight down like that, it's pretty good. Okay, so I want to stamp it off first. So I shall move this over, stamp it off, and then stamp onto my... See, and it just gives a muted script in the background. Okay, so I'll move it over to this side now. I'm going to stamp it off, make sure I've got it straight. No, that's a bit crooked, but I think I know which way I've got to go. There we go. I managed to do that. I'm in shock. So we'll take our mask off. And if you're going to do more of the same stamp, see how the writing doesn't go through the flower? If you're going to do more, hang on to your mask and reuse it. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, Stampin' Up used to sell this, I don't know what you call it, distressing tool, I think was what it was called. So for that shabby chic look, I'm going to distress the sides of it, of my watercolor paper. I don't sell it anymore, but you can use scissors. I'll show you how to use scissors in a second. These are my old paper snips from when I first joined, so they're 13 years old. So I tend to use them if I'm doing any sort of rough work, because I've got new ones now. So you can just distress with the blade of a scissor. Just be careful that you don't cut yourself, but you can do that. And also you can use your fingernails, but I've got shocking fingernails and it would do nothing. They're as weak as anything and they'd probably just split and chip. So if you don't have a distressing tool, just use the blade of your scissors. Or if you've got great fingernails, I'm envious. So I'll just do this last edge. Oops. And it doesn't matter if it's all roughed up and damaged. That's the way it's meant to look. I'll just get up into that top corner because sometimes where I'm holding it, I can't get to. That should do for the distressing. Now you will end up with a whole lot of fluffy business, which you can just scrape up and throw away. That's the way that is. Now you'll see over with my samples, I distressed ink around the edge, which I think looks quite nice on that one, and I didn't do it on this one, so I think I'll do it again because I do quite like it. So you just need your... Oh, my papers are not standing still today. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. So get your blending brush and just go around the edge like this, the ruffled up edge. And it shouldn't put too much fluff into your ink pad. I just like the way it makes it look a bit more shabby chic. Do as much as you want. If you want to put a little bit of blending, but I think that's heaps now. Okay, so we don't need that scrap paper anymore. And I've used early espresso cardstock this time for my card base. And the papers in the sample cards were from the In Good Taste paper pack. It's such a good paper pack because it's got lots of wood grainy, brick tiles sort of look. And I was going to use this pinky one. I'm not sure if I should. I just thought it needed a bit more colour. I think that's a bit too dark, and it's very much like this one. I think I will, because it sort of lends itself to the blossoms being pink. So I quite like the pink behind it. The pink is Rococo Rose, which retired, but they carried this paper pack over. And it's a great paper pack because it's a double pack. So you get quite a few sheets in it. So I will look that up for you and let you know. So let me just get my little backings off. This one's stuck. Okay, so just going to line that up. Oh, I should have put some ribbon on. I'll put some ribbon on now. Now, the thing is, what ribbon will I put on? I could go the early espresso again, which I think I will, because then it ties in the base, and yeah, I think I will do that. Okay, so this one's going to go around the paper as well. So just a bit of seal down here. That's a bit too low. I don't want it that low. There we go. Yeah, I like that. And I'll get my green glue. And put that down. Oops, there's a bit of glue poking out, so I'll just clean that up as I go. Oh, bit too much glue applied. Oh, look at that, I was a bit heavy-handed. Not to worry. Just wipe it up. There we go. Okay, so I will do a bow with my early espresso ribbon. It's such lovely ribbon. The lace trim also looks great with this technique. It looks sort of shabby chic. There we go. Okay, so I'll get a glue dot. Now, will I put it there or in the center? Let me think. I think there's nice. And I shall get another glue dot to hold my ribbon down. Just help secure that. And what goes there? This is my scrap, my offcuts from my watercolor paper, so I tend to hang on to those. So I'm just trying to think of a sentiment. Friend, cherish. I think always thinking of you. I think that's a nice one. So I shall get, oh, that's quite long, isn't it? Oh, it's all right. It's not going to fit on that scrap. Didn't realise how long that was. Nope. Fits on that one. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down a little bit. half an inch. Will that fit on half an inch? Nope, I'd need 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And I might use one of my punches. I might just make sure that that's 3/4, and if it's a little bit more, I'll take some off. No, that works. Okay. Need a long block. Okay, so you can get your soft suede back out, and if you want, you can use your treasured labels punch. Now, if this is too wide, I will change my mind on this situation. So, always thinking of you. That's nice, I like that. Okay, so as you've probably seen when I've played with these punches before, I get the chad that gets cut off and I work out how long I want it to be. And then I get a pencil. And I know that that's where it should be the length that I'm wanting. So I'll do that, put that in. Yep, that's in. Some people struggle with these punches, but once you get the knack of them, they're quite lovely to use. Okay, so scraps. It is rather big though, I'm just thinking. Wonder if it would be better. Yes, that's too big, I don't like it. See, I'm going to just cut around it like as if, sometimes you do this if you're embossed an image, sentiment. You can just cut around it, and that sort of brings the size of it down a bit. A lot of people are doing that now, and I thought, oh, okay, I can get in on that bandwagon. Okay, round we go. I should have got my better paper snips out for this, not to worry. I forget sometimes, and I just pick up the ones on my table. I forget I've got a lovely new sharp pair. Not to worry. This is working. It's not a lot of fussy cutting, really. So I showed you how to use a punch, which we didn't really use. Okay, that's better. I like that, it's sort of less. But what I'm going to do is get my blending brush and my scrap paper, and just with the ink on the brush, I shouldn't have to, no, I don't need to re-ink it. I'm just going to blend over the top just to take the starkness of the natural watercolor paper off, because you don't want anything too sort of stark when you've sepia washed it. And yet it's still lighter, so it still sort of pops out. So I will get my small dimensionals for the greeting. Get my old pokey tool. And put them where I can. I'm so glad summer's coming. Well, let me correct myself on that. I'm glad the warmer weather's coming. I don't really like summer. It's a bit too hot for my liking. The last few summers have been too hot. But I do like spring and autumn. So what's today? 27. That's just a lovely temperature for me. I don't like it when it gets to 35. That's just way too hot. I start melting. Oh. Okay. So I'll probably center this because it sort of nearly goes across it. Yeah. And let's see what embellishments I've got that would work on those cards. I didn't embellish my samples. I might have to embellish all of them at the same time. Get rid of these scraps. Can't handle scraps on my desk. Okay, so I could do champagne rhinestones on that because of the pink behind, the pink paper behind it. Some people might not agree with the pink, but I just thought it needed some colour, like as if the flowers were coloured. There we go. I like that. They're the champagne rhinestones on that one. Now this one's a little bit more sort of sepia. Elegant faceted gems. What are they? No, I don't want them. Don't want blue gems. They wouldn't work. No. What about these epoxy ones? Because they would take on like a raindrop and take on the colour underneath. That might be nice. Ooh. Haven't used these a lot. There we go. That's on that one. What about the free as a bird? What can I put on that one? Pastel pearls. What? Oh no, not them. Sometimes I forget what things look like. I wonder if they'd look any good because of the blue. I think I might try these. Iridescent. I'm not sure if they're carried over or not. Balance. There we go. That's our bling done. Oh, there's a little packet. Okay, so that's our antique wash. They're our antique wash cards. So let me just find my catalogue. So I've used the Forever Blossoms stamp set and Very Versailles, which I haven't flagged. The ribbons I've used are the Early Espresso Faux Suede trim and the Very Vanilla Scalloped Lace trim. So they're the ribbons I've used. So I hope you've enjoyed that Make It Monday today. It's just a antique wash technique, and you can put it on any coloured base and make it look a different colour. Like this is on a bluish base, this is on the pinky base, and it's just an interesting technique to do. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Remember, if you want to place an order with me over $30, use this host code and you'll get an online card class in the mail. And don't forget, Celebration has still got a few more weeks to run. It finishes at the end of September. So any $90 order, you get to pick a free Celebration item. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye.